Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Halo 5 gameplay. This is taking place on the map Regret, which is a remixed version of the map Truth. And Truth is basically a remixed map of the map Midship, I suppose, in a way. So that can get a little bit confusing. Essentially what they've done with the two newest maps is, at least in Team Slayer BR, is they've taken two of the maps that were already existing in the beta and they've remixed them with a different visual theme. Empire was quite a bright, well-lit map, but now if you play the remixed version of it, which goes by the name of Eden, it's a dark cityscape map. It's a little bit like Skyline. It looks absolutely stunning, for the record. It's probably become my favorite map, and hopefully I'll get a gameplay on that map for you guys. But this is Regret, and this is more like the light, airy version of Midship or Truth, and it plays pretty tremendously well. The art style itself actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Gears of War 3. There are a couple of maps like that. I can't quite remember the name of them, but they were quite dusky, and there's a lot of overgrowth and insects, and it just feels like kind of like it's out in the wild. Apparently, the actual theme for the map and the aesthetic of the map is based off of the map Truth being crashed on some planet, and it's like upside down. And it's a little bit tricky at first because you find yourself trying to do the same stuff you were doing on Truth, but then you get a little bit confused because certain areas are different. Like, it's much easier to access top middle. There's far more routes to get there. There's just pathways. Whereas on Truth, it was kind of like jump and thruster pack, which is still pretty easy. And now it's just like, it's all over the place in terms of the walkways to top middle. And it kind of reminds me of an ant colony in the way it's got these like long winding hallways, and everything's kind of building to the top. It's an interesting map for sure. I've definitely preferred my time on Eden. There's a sniper rifle and an energy sword on Eden, which I think makes for an interesting dynamic. I always said whilst playing Empire that I kind of wish there was a close-range weapon because there's so many flanking routes and you can get so in your face, but there was no weapon to do it with. Two sniper rifles didn't necessarily make sense, whereas the whole sniper sword dynamic is really interesting. On this map, we see the first appearance of the Hydra. Oh, and I should also say, going back to that Eden conversation, the energy sword is actually the real energy sword, the normal one. It isn't Prophet's Bane this time. It isn't quite as bright and as distracting, and it doesn't make you run as fast. So that's something to bear in mind. I think it has a slightly less lunge. I was choking a lot of hits with that energy sword, to be honest. I've definitely got to get the hang of it, and it might be a little bit jarring switching between normal energy sword and Prophet's Bane. But on this map, you get the Hydra, and people were basically predicting that the Hydra was going to be kind of like a plasma grenade launcher from Halo Reach. And whilst there are similarities, I'd have to say that the feel of the weapon is completely different. The bullets themselves are pretty darn floaty. You do get this lock-on mechanic. You have to like lock on like 2 bullets and it will kill them, but I feel like it kind of hits against them rather than sticks to them and then explodes. It can kill very, very swiftly, and you need to be very, very careful when approaching someone with a Hydra. They've only put 1 power weapon on this game, and I think it's because they believe that it's a pretty darn effective weapon. They've also added 2 light rifles to the map. I think there's 2 light rifles on Eden as well. The light rifle was a free hit kill with a very, very slow rate of fire. It's going to take a little bit of time to pick up because, quite frankly, the auto aim on it is completely low, and if you go into this trying to use the light rifle in the same way that you did in Halo 4, you will be punished for it. I suppose the range kind of still stands to reason, but like I said, the rate of fire is extremely slow, whereas in Halo 4 it was extremely fast, and also you've just got to bear in mind that it's a free hit kill. So it can do a lot of damage. It can be quite intimidating when you're under fire from a light rifle and you know that just like one more shot could have you dead in an instant. It's pretty good at cleaning up kills, and it's pretty good at getting people weak. I would say it's more of a, I don't know, I would use it in like a support role in terms of like finishing off kills and getting people weak, more so than like running in and trying to be like the hero. You can't really be a hero with a light rifle. The auto aim is very low, so it's definitely got an interesting dynamic to it. But in terms of these maps and the way I feel about the the remixes are a concept we just haven't seen in Halo. Obviously, we've seen remakes from game to game, but taking a map within a game and then remixing it is definitely new, and I'm not 100% necessarily sure how I feel about it for the time being. It's kind of a little bit like League of Legends. League of Legends, you get kind of the same map and the same build, but they'll put different versions of it. There'll be like a summer version of it, there'll be an autumn version, a winter version, and it kind of seems like they're trying to, you know, invoke that strategy in this game, and I don't know if it comes across as laziness or if it's like a worthwhile decision to make. I do like the way the map's played, and I have enjoyed my time on the maps, and I'm not sitting here like, oh, this is way too much like Truth, I'm bored. It's definitely got its own dynamics, and I think changing the power weapons is certainly mixing it up. You could, you know, change the map where it has like ranged power weapons on one version of the map, and then it has close range power weapons, and it's really interesting. But I think I'll kind of have to see over time how I actually feel about it, because if the full game comes out and there's 10 maps, but then 5 of them are the same as the opposite 5, it might be a little bit disconcerting, to be honest, because I always liked how Halo games, especially once the DLCs had come out, had such a broad range of maps which explored completely different environments and had completely different setups. Halo 3 had one of my favorite map lineups of all time because it was so diverse and so dissimilar. And whilst they can diversify the aesthetics, they can't 100% diversify the actual layout of the map without breaking the map flow or just making it not the same map to begin with. Empire, very much you can feel the bones of Eden, you can very much feel the bones of Empire, and it's the same with Regret. Whilst they do look fairly dissimilar and they have some pretty big structural differences, like bottom middle is more like mapped out, as you can see on Eden, and like I said, there's more ways to top on Regret, there's more ways to top middle, and bottom middle is more mapped out, and Empire is more about top control. There's lots of catwalks. Eden. Dude, I suck. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I'm getting confused with my maps. But Eden is probably my favorite so far, and I'm just very interested to see how people react to these maps, and, you know, whether it's a good or bad thing that we're seeing remixes of the map, because quite frankly, I'm a little bit undecided at the moment. I think it kind of depends how good Forge is and stuff like that in terms of how well fleshed out this game could be. But I do love my Halo maps. And I think the fact that Truth is basically a remix of Midship, like I said anyway, it kind of makes it feel a bit like, you know, I want to see what their design philosophies are. I like seeing new maps and how 343 approaches them. I was really excited with Empire because Empire, I feel like, works better with the abilities than Truth does. Truth can get a bit defensive with the abilities, and I didn't necessarily like that. So moving forward, it will be interesting to see, but that's basically my first fresh impressions. Bear in mind that this may change over time, but I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I got a few nice Hydra kills in there, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. But I've been Modest Major. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Peace.